Good morning, everybody. It's Danny and Wanda back from Pecan Grove. Guys, I got here at 6:45 this morning. It is now 8:52. For the last 2 hours, Wanda and I have been tending the garden. You know, y'all see me all the time using equipment and all that kind of stuff, and you think, wow, I can't afford to do that. And that's true for lots of people. They can't afford it, or they don't have the area or the space to do it. But we grow in large quantities because we feed ourselves from the garden, almost solely. And what we've done today, you can't do with a tractor or a tiller or anything like that. Sometimes you just got to revert back to the old-fashioned way of doing things. And guys, what it is right over here. Well, first of all, is my old homemade hoe here. This was made out of an old sawmill blade. It is actually kind of hard to tell it, but it's cut on an angle. It's wider here than it is here. I actually have the bottom sharpened off. I have the sides sharpened off on both sides, so that when I'm out hoeing, and we've talked about this before, like that piece of grass right there, you know, you just get it up, or I can turn sideways, and still, like if I'm going between plants and stuff, you know, you can get that kind of stuff up with it and then just turn around and rake it, you know, smooth it back out. But the old handle is just an old longleaf pine tree that I found in the woods growing. I cut them down occasionally when I find them. I take them in the barn, drive a nail in the end of them up, and let them hang up and dry. This was found at an old garbage dump right here, this part right here. And then I just welded the end onto it there. Kind of, you know, I mean, it ain't nothing fancy, but hey, it's cut at the angle in which I hoe at. That's why it's wider on one side than it is the other. Now, Ms. Wanda, she prefers to use what's called a batwing hoe. Now, this originally came from Hoss Tools right here. And I'm not sure today if they even still handle these. But this is her favorite hoe. It's easy to sharpen. You just got you sharpen the back side of it back here, and it's real tiny. She can get around there, and Ms. Wanda can work her way around in stuff. You know what I mean? We got a fire ant bed right here, but she just works her way. It's very light. And for me, it's a little too light for me. But if it's sharp, you just go along there and take care of stuff like that. And the handle is, this is how I choose handle lengths. You know, Wanda's tall like me. I like to prop my hands up on my handle lengths, you know, like same one here. I like to be able to do it that way because it tells me if my hands is like this, if I get tired, I can stop and rest on my hoe. But that's the two old-fashioned products we've been using this morning. If you're going to truly garden, you can't get away from that. The problem today is we're learning people want to just come out and put the plants in the ground, and then they want to either use a herbicide, a pre-emergent herbicide, or they want to come in and spray around everything, or they want to mulch it and try to keep the weeds out. That won't work in the deep south. It gets so hot here. This right here, like I was showing you right here, this is what you contend with right here. Fire ants. They literally, it don't matter what you do. If you put mulch on the ground, them suckers are going to come up in that mulch and they're going to eat your plants. They're going to eat everything in the world up. And you're not going to get rid of them with no DE or... Now, we've tried everything. People go, oh, you use borax, and you forget all that stuff. Fire ants are from hell. They just, Satan himself. These are imported fire ants. Now, these are not just fire ants, they're imported fire ants. But now that we've got to this point, we've hoed all the grass out to the middles. Now, we haven't totally cleaned the middles because I may bring my cub farm all over here and run down some of them and kind of get the middles taken care of, you know, and kind of get some of that out, or either we'll bring a tiller of some kind and go down the middle, a little handheld one. But right now, our main focus was to get the beds where the plants are and get them cleaned out around all the tomato cages and all the little tiny plants and stuff like that. And then what we do is we take a plain old garden rake, guys. This in here is just a plain old garden rake. And Ms. Wanda will come back and she'll go down through the middles, and we rake all the grass up in piles, and we take it and pile it over in the woods to just go away, because it'll die, you know, and that's what we want. We don't want it dying out here in the field, because if it comes to rain, a lot of it will re-root. So we don't want that to happen. So Miss Wanda's going to take and go get busy doing that. Guys, we've been 2 hours now on the garden. We don't want to be a whole lot longer because the sun's just fixing to pop over the top of these trees right here. And when it does, it's probably going to heat up pretty hot. This is the simplest way we found to do this, guys. It's just to get the trash out of the garden. We're not particular. Now sometimes we'll take a 5-gallon bucket with us, you know, if we're just doing around specific plants, and we'll just throw all this grass over in a 5-gallon bucket. But today there was just too much grass. We just had to stop, and we'll rake it up in piles, and then we'll come back and we'll get it out, you know. Try to see if we can take care of it that way. But something else, I mean guys, the plants are doing beautiful here. I mean, these are a variety of zucchini squash that Wanda planted. They make a round squash. Now y'all can see I have the little things from Hills Mill Homestead in there, my little copper electroculture coils in there. And look, the one that's blooming is the one that's by the electroculture. The rest of them, they're not blooming. Now here's one here. We just put it by it, and look right here. These are starting to pop out. They'll be blooming before long. And down here, look at this one. We've got the electroculture by it, and look at this. We've already got 3 squashes. And a whole bunch more coming on in the middle. And then right over here by it where it's not at, look at this one. This is a tiny little plant compared to this one. Look at this. This compared to that. And then over here we have our spaghetti squash, and I have chosen a few plants. I have one right here that I have my electroculture by, and it's done running all the way down through here. And I got down here this morning and I got to looking, and there's a little squash already on that one. We got one blooming right there. Look at this, boy. I got another one by this one right here, right there. This one's already taken off and coming down through here. And I mean, it's doing fantastic. We got little squashes popping up all over it. So that's kind of exciting. I want to show y'all one of the ways that I've learned to fertilize from an elderly Native American. Let me say that, a Native American woman, many years ago, is to take a rod, and you can take stick, it don't matter what it is, just go down in the soil. Now, it ain't rained here in a while, guys. Ms. Wanda just done a little watering this morning. And then we take our calcium nitrate. Now this will work around all plants. You don't want to get right up against the roots, but I'm out about, probably, there's the base of the plant. I'm out the width of mine, probably 6 to 8 inches out here. Then I just come back and I tamp a little dirt over it. I do this around my onions. I do it around all the peppers and tomatoes and squashes and everything I take individually. Now it's just no gate pin that I broke. And I just go from plant to plant, and I just go about 6 inches from it, water me a hole. And the old Native American woman said, you do that with that calcium nitrate, and these plants will just take off. Now, you don't want to do this around peas and beans because they make their own nitrogen. But plants that don't make their own nitrogen, you know, like tomatoes and peppers and squashes and stuff like that, eggplants and cucumbers and all the types of good stuff that we need to be eating, this works fantastic. Now, a lot of y'all ask me, I get this locally here, a little feed store we got here. It helps to prevent blossom end rot in tomatoes, all that kind of stuff. We put this around all of our plants because in the deep south here, calcium is something that our soil is very deficient in. And the soil sample, if y'all stay with me and watch my soil sample, called for 2 tons per acre of lime, which is calcium. And guys, that's a lot. So we decided, we limed the garden in the beginning. If y'all watched this when I prepared this ground here, We did all the liming and everything in it to get it ready as much as we could, but I didn't have 2 tons to put out. I was only able to put out maybe a ton. So now I'm going back and I'm adding next to each plant some additional calcium and nitrogen, because the nitrogen, the plants really don't know the difference between organic and non-organic nitrogen. A lot of people go, well, I use the organic blood meal, and that's fine if that's what you want to do, but you have to understand organic compounds. When you use the blood meal, you're only going to get about 8% up front on that when you put it out. So when you put it out, your plant's only going to get just a little bit of nitrogen right up front. Then it's going to take about a 4-month period for it to break down where the plant can actually begin to utilize it. And by then, most plants are gone in 4 months. So you need to do it if you're going to use that kind of stuff. You need to put it out in the fall so that when the spring comes, you'll be ready to plant. And guys, when you're using a product like this, it's calcium nitrate like this, yes, it's a synthetic fertilizer, but the plant doesn't know the difference. And it will get it instantly. Probably in 30 days, this is gone. Totally gone. That's where the organic compound would have it over this, is because the organic blood meal will stay in the soil for a long period of time because it takes it so long to break down. Now, that's the pros and the cons of synthetic versus an organic compound. Okay guys, as promised, I'm going to give you a little bit of an update on my electroculture experiment on the unknown tomato variety that we came up with in the high tunnel. And this is them. This one here is starting to actually green up. Now, we've been having a lot of problems here with 40-degree temperature in the morning, 45, 44, 46. You know, this is not tomato temperatures.
It's actually got a bloom.
Yeah, it actually has some couple of blooms on it there, but this one is trying to pull out because it gets up to 75 to 80 during the day. Now, this one here was struggling when we first put it out, even in the high tunnel. And I said, well, I'm going to put it out anyway. And it's
got a bloom.
It's got a bloom, but it's still struggling. It hadn't really pulled out and done anything yet. But now the other one here, this one's taking on a good dark green color.
Got
blooms on it. It's a little small for blooms, but hey, we'll take it. This one here is one that done hoed some dirt up on my leaves. This one actually has a bloom on that side. It actually has a tomato.
Got a tomato.
Look at that. Wow.
In a week.
In a week it has a tomato on it. I'm impressed.
I think there might have been a bloom on it when we set it out.
It might have been, but I'm impressed.
Wow.
Wow. That surprises me. I didn't even know it was there.
Okay, now peppers and...
Now the peppers and onions, as y'all can see, I've already added the calcium nitrate and covered it up there.
Loaded and little blooms fixing to come out.
It is just loaded.
Look at the peppers under here.
Now this one already has the coil.
Look.
And it already has the peppers on it. That's how much faster.
There's like 3 at least in there.
This one's working
blooming
to nothing. And then we come over here to
this one. This one's got blooms, but it's also got little peppers.
Oh, I see some little ones way down low down
right
there.
here.
They're down next to the ground.
There's a big one right here.
Oh, I do see the big one right there, yeah.
See it?
So we got some there, and this one is loading up.
I mean, it's doing really great.
It is doing fine. Now this is Ms. Wanda's tomatoes. This is the celebrities. And it is looking, now this one has the little electroculture coil on it.
But it also had the tomatoes already.
Yeah.
Look how big this one is under here. It was already there, about half that size the other day.
It's doing really good.
It's got a little one up in there.
Yeah, it's got, see it?
So.
No insect problems.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. Of course, it's been pretty cool. All right, now this one
doesn't have the electroculture
No,
thing.
this one doesn't have the electroculture thing. This one's got a lot of tomatoes on it. Of course, it had them to start out with.
Yeah.
But the plant looks really, really good. I mean, that's the whole thing here is we're comparing. We're not, we're not trying to pull any punches. We're actually showing you the differences between the two of them. I treat both of them exactly the same. I fertilize them the same. We water them the same. Everything is the same.
So let's go check the one with the plastic around the vinyl or what around the cage.
Yeah, the vinyl tomato cage, yes. Now these tomatoes here are not actually ours. We have an elderly gentleman that we allow to come over. He's older than I am, okay? Let's just, everybody always gets on to me about that, you know. But he's older than I am, way older than I am. He doesn't really have a place to grow anything, so we tell him he can use some of our garden here when he wants to come over. And I put one of these electroculture things from Hills Mill Homestead next to one of his plants.
And I've also got an okra coming up in his stuff because I had planted okra in here, so we're going to let the okra grow
we'll
too.
Just let the okra go, it won't hurt it. But now his is, he just had some old cages and they're vinyl.
So we're going to see how it works with...
Yeah, we're just seeing how it works with the vinyl ones. I don't think it'll be that much different, but
it looks okay.
Looks okay, and he's got another one stuck right there by it, and you know, a couple of more. Now in his defense, these two right here, this one and this one, the freeze actually killed them all the way back to the ground. We thought we really figured they was just going to die.
But look how pretty.
I didn't take them up. I just left them. I told him, I said, leave them. Let's just see. And you know, it's still got some of the damaged leaves on it here. You can see where the freeze actually had gotten really bad on them.
But they're coming out. And these are cherry tomatoes.
Yeah, these are the, what do they call them? The
sweet 100s
sweet
or cherry.
I believe, because he loves cherries.
Super sweet 100s.
He likes them in his salads and stuff like that.
So,
and I told him, I said, yeah, put you some out
this
here.
one has gone crazy in the last 2 weeks. It was almost dead 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yes,
it's just really taken off. So we're really super excited with it.
I think he's going to be realizing he's going to have some big stakes in these things or something.
I think it's fixing to outgrow his cage.
I think it's going to outgrow his little cage. Yeah. And a lot of y'all wanted an update on the Danny corn. Well, you can see right here how tall I am. I'm not on my knees or nothing. I'm actually standing up with my legs spread apart right here so I can keep my balance, because that plow made a deep furrow down through here. I got my feet across it, so I'm up a little bit higher. But yeah, we're waist high now, easy. The whole field's that way. It's got a really, really good dark green color. I'm really happy with it. My cows are happy with it because I have been thinning it some and feeding the cows, and I think they think when they see me out here now that they have to come moo at the fence. So I fed them this morning. They're gone. We don't have to worry about it for the video. So, but I wanted to show you the progress of the Danny corn and how it's doing also.